Hello everyone. So in this session we're going to talk about the purchasing process and the other activities related to purchasing. So basically let's understand what is purchasing. Purchasing is the process of acquiring the material or services required for carrying out business activities in the company code. Now this acquisition of material or services can be carried out either internally or externally. External will be from a vendor, internal will be from either another department or another plant. Now, there is another common term which is used along with purchasing called procurement. Are procurement and purchasing the same? The answer is definitely no. Purchasing is a specific process which is one of the steps of the procurement process. So, procurement is a larger process which indicates the complete process of the material procurement, the material purchase, identification, specifying the usage, okay, carry out the purchase process, receiving stock, verifying invoice, carrying out the invoice entry, and ends with vendor payment. So all these activities are part of the procurement process, whereas purchasing is one of the steps of procurement. Now, if procurement starts with identifying the material or service to be used by the planning department, then let's say where does the purchasing process start? In any situation, purchasing will start with a requirement or need. Whether it's an individual or a company, whenever there is a requirement, you're going to purchase it. So this requirement or need will be first sent to the stores department in the company. And if stock is available in the stores department, they issue it end of the matter. But in case the stock is not available in the store, then that requirement will be forwarded to the purchasing department. Now, in most of the situations, the requirement which is sent to the purchase department will be for material which is regularly maintained in stock or regularly purchased. So, since the purchase department will already have the information about where to purchase, how much to purchase, by what date it has to be sent, the purchase department will directly create a purchase order for the relevant vendor, get the approval and send it to the vendor for supply. However, there are certain situations, certain companies where the number of requirements received by the purchase department per day or per hour in certain cases are huge. So then the purchase department will create an internal list of requirements, which is called as purchase requisition. And the next step would be approval of this purchase requisition, then identification of the sources for supply of for various requirements, then get the approval for the vendor list, and then create the purchase order. However, in case the material is purchased for the first time or after a long time, because the purchase department will not have the relevant purchase related information or purchase data, so for those items where the vendors are known, the purchase department will create a request for quotation document and send it to them after approval. Or in case material is purchased for the first time where the vendors are not known, they create a different document called global purchase bid document. So whether it's RFQ or GPB, they get the approval, send the RFQ to known vendors, or in case of GPB, print the document on websites or trade publications, that's your newspapers or trade magazines. The vendors who are interested in supplying the material, if it's an RFQ, then all the vendors who are uh, you know, interested in supplying specific material in that RFQ, they send their price list along with the terms and conditions, which will be maintained as quotation. Then we do the comparison of quotations, select or shortlist the vendors based on the quotations, and then get the approval for vendor selection in case it is a shortlist. Then after that, you create a purchase orders, get the approval, and send it to the vendor. Now, in most of the cases, once the requirement is sent to the purchase department, like I said earlier, the purchase order will be the most commonly created purchase document. So, in the SAP system, purchase order is the document which has a mandatory approval. Okay. Now the various documents, purchase related documents maintained in the system, in the SAP system are these. And each of these documents have a unique identifier called document type, by which the application is going to differentiate between each of these documents. So each document in the SAP system is divided into three parts: header, item overview, and item detail. The header part of the document contains information common to all the items in the document, like payment terms, currency, the currency exchange rate, organizational data, document data or the document status, the approval strategies, the validity period, all these things which are common to the all the items in the document are maintained in the header part. Item overview is where the list of items to be purchased is maintained. So here information maintained will be very brief, like material number, quantity, delivery date, purchase price, delivery plan, item category, account assignment category. So the brief information about the items to be purchased will be maintained here. Item detail will contain the details of each item, of all the items, item wise in tab formats. So once we see the document, and you'll better understand what these parts are. So let's see how to create the first document, which is purchase requisition. Now, purchase requisition is a document which is used to maintain the list of items to be purchased, and it is created without reference to a vendor or a purchasing organization. This purchase requisition is more like a shopping list which an individual will maintain when they want to go shopping. So it's only an internal document, it's not sent outside the company code. Let's see how to create a purchase requisition. So we go back to the application. So creation of purchase requisition, transaction code is ME51N. So enter that transaction code. Okay, I seem to have been logged out. Just give me one moment. Let me log in. So here you enter the command ME51N and the screen will open. So this is the screen that you see. Click on create a new document. So the first field that you see here is the document type. Select the standard document type, which is NB. The next field is the document number. Leave it blank for internal assignment. Source determination, I'll come to this in a little while. The item number will be the serial number. Now, since the purchase requisition is a purchase document, even this is divided into three parts: header, item overview, item detail. The header part of the purchase requisition contains only a text box in which certain information or any related information can be maintained by the users. Whatever they want to maintain, there's no specific information about that. The item detail is where the details of the material to be purchased will be maintained. So enter the material number, the quantity that you want to purchase, the delivery date, and the client. So since this document is just an internal document, you can specify the specify the material for any number of plans, provided all those plans are within the company code. Now you're getting this error message called account assignment mandatory for material. The reason for this is because the material type of this material is maintained as a non-valuated non-stock material. So the solution for this during practice is to change the attributes of the material type from non-valuated non-stock to stock material. But for that, I need to first check the material type of that material. So we use the transaction code MM60 to check the material type of that material. Enter the plant codes here, VGP1 and VGP2. Click on execute. And here it will show me the material numbers and the material type. So except for 12001, which is of a different material type, all the other material type are of ROH material type. So now I need to go to the material type attribute. So we go to SDRO IMG, Logistics General, Material Master, Basic Settings, Material Types, define attributes of material types, execute. Select that material type, double click on quantity value updating, go to the relevant plant and check these boxes under quantity updating and value updating for all the relevant plants and save it. Done. So now go back to MA51N and create the document again. So when I press enter, the details of the material, like the short text, the description, the unit of measurement, the delivery date format, material group, purchasing group will be automatically copied from the material master. And in the item detail part, the details of that item will be automatically updated. And since I've checked the source determination checkbox, system will show me the list of vendors who are authorized to supply that material to that plant on that specified date and at the price at which they are going to supply it. So all this data will be displayed when you check the source determination. For your initial practice, do not check the source determination checkbox. So just create it directly. Again, select the document type, enter the material numbers. So let me just enter the detail. So you can enter the data for any number of plans. Since this is just an internal document. Since we have created two plans, I've just maintained the data for both the plans. So once the data is entered, click on check here to check, allow the system to check if there are any errors. Once you get the message, no message is issued, that means all the data is accurate as per requirement, click on save. So like this, I can create as many purchase requisitions as are required. To change a purchase requisition, you go to ME52N and make the necessary changes. ME53N is used for displaying the purchase requisition data. So all the data will be in display mode. Once you're done, To check the list of purchase requisitions, we can use the standard transaction code ME5A. Enter the criteria for pulling out the relevant list of purchase requisitions. Okay, I'm sorry for this. Just give me one moment. So you can use ME5A to enter the. This is happening. Again, I seem to be getting disconnected by the system. Just give me one moment. Okay, sorry for this. Let me go back, and once you specify MA5A, you can enter any criteria to fill out the relevant data. So since we have just created one purchase requisition with two items in the document, it's just showing me one document with two items. Okay. So once the purchase requisition, this is how the purchase requisition activities are carried out. Next, we're going to talk about the request for quotation. Now, request for quotation is a document which is created by the company code for getting comparative prices from different vendors for various material services required in case either the information already available with the company code is outdated, or in case of a new material which the company is going to purchase for the first time. Okay. Now the data is common for all the vendors, and each request for quotation document will be created for a specific purchasing organization. So let's see how to create a request for quotation. Transaction code is MA41. An RFQ document, that's a request for quotation, can be created with reference to a purchase requisition or outline agreement, or copied from another RFQ document. Or you can also create it without reference by entering all the data manually. That's what we're going to do partially, and then we use the reference to purchase requisition. RFQ type identifies the document type of the document. Since RFQ, the standard document is AN, specify that. Language key identifies the language in which the data in the RFQ will be maintained. Universally, it is EN. RFQ date is the date on which you're going to create the document. Deadline identifies the date by which the vendors have to send the request, the quotations. For your practice, you can enter the current date, but in the real time, there will be at least 7 days difference between the RFQ date, the document date, and the deadline date. Next would be to enter the relevant purchasing organization and a purchasing group. And these fields are used for maintaining any default data, which is common data for all or most of the items. Click on the reference to purchase requisition button to create the link to the purchase requisition document we have created. Enter the document number, press enter. Okay, just give me one moment. Okay, sorry for the delay. Let's create another document here, the purchase requisition document. Certain changes made which were not allowed in the standard system. Sorry for that. Just quickly enter the data. Just give me one moment. So enter the data in the RFQ, click on reference to purchase requisition, enter the document number. Pressing enter will take you to the header part where you can enter the information common to all the items. In the RFQ, there's an interesting field in the header part called collective number, which is used for grouping multiple RFQs and the resultant documents together based on some criteria. For example, if you want RFQ, if your company is creating a lot of RFQs based on a specific criteria, you can group all those RFQs together. For example, you can use the purchasing organization or material type purchased or the plan for which you're creating the purchase document. So like this, based on different criteria, you can maintain the collective number. Once you maintain the collective number, any other documents created based on the RFQ or the quotation, you can group them all together based on this collective number. And when you want to analyze how many RFQs have been totally created during a specified period based on the criteria, out of which how many, against which how many quotations have been received, how many were selected, and how many purchase orders were. So all this analysis can be carried out based on this collective number. It's a 1 to 10 character alphanumeric code which can be uh, which is entered only by the users. They can enter whatever code they want. So just enter a 1 to 10 character code for your practice. Press enter and take you to the overview screen where you can enter the relevant data, the material numbers and the quotation, the quantities required to be delivered for that material, the delivery date for that material. You can enter any delivery date which is not of the current date, and then you can enter the plan. Now this plan, the delivery plan should be one which is handled by that purchasing organization. So press enter, you get these details. To maintain the header text, which is the terms and conditions common for all these items, go to the main menu, header, text, and text overview. Then you can maintain the text. Now here it shows only 2 lines of data for each item. And if you have seen any quotations, usually there will be more than 2 lines of data. So if you want to maintain more than 2 lines of data for any of these header text items, select that item, click on long text screen, and it will open a Word document or a notepad, whichever is available in the system. So like this, you can enter as many lines of data for that particular item. Click on back and it will take you back to the main screen. And here it will show you more text check indicating that there is additional data which exists. So once you have entered all the relevant data, click on the vendor address button or press F7 to enter the vendor number. If you don't remember the vendor number, press F4 over there, go to vendors purchasing, enter the relevant purchasing organization and check for the vendor numbers. Enter the vendor number, press enter. Now to check how this document will be sent to the vendor, to maintain the output settings, click on the overview button after entering the vendor number. Click on the overview button, click on this messages icon, the printer icon, and here it will show you the options available for sending. You can select print output, fax, telex, EDI is email, or set it up as a SAP event or task. So usual setting for practice is print output. Once you have checked the data, go back to the vendor address, save it. Since the data that we entered so far, except for the vendor number, is common to all the vendors, I just need to enter the vendor number and click on save, and the system will generate a RFQ number for that vendor. So like this, for each of the vendors that we have created, enter the vendor number, click on save to generate the RFQ number. So since we have 4 vendors, create the RFQ for all the 4 vendors. Okay. Once you're done creating the RFQ for all the vendors, exit the screen. You want to change the RFQ, go to MA42, enter the relevant RFQ number, document number, and make the necessary changes. MA43 is for display. Again, by document, you can display the data. MA44 is used for maintaining RFQ supplement. Now, supplement is used to maintain the changes to the header text only. In case the client wants to make any changes to only the header text, then they are going to use the MA44 to make those changes. ME9A is to send the RFQ document to the vendor. So select, go to ME9A, enter a range of document numbers and any other criteria, click on execute, and the system will show me the list of all the RFQ documents which are pending to be sent out to the vendor. So when you scroll down, the documents that we created will be displayed at the end. Select the documents that you want to send and click on output message. As per the output type defined in the document, system will automatically send it. To check the print preview for each of the documents, select the document and click on display message, and it will show me the print preview. Now the layout that you see here is a standard layout. Okay. In case the client wants a different layout or they want to add some fields, you need to sit with the programmer and modify the program. Okay. So once it is sent out, the vendors are going to send in the quotations or the price list. So let's see how to maintain the quotation in the SAP system. So to maintain a quotation, we use the transaction code MA47. MA47 is both for creating and changing quotation. So enter the RFQ number and maintain the price. So that's all that you need to do. Just enter the price for the RFQ and it becomes a quotation. That's the only difference between an RFQ and a quotation document, which is maintaining the price in the SAP system. If price is maintained, then it becomes a quotation. So as you can understand, I'm just entering random numbers here. For your practice, whatever values you want to maintain, you can maintain them. Once you're done, you want to make changes, you go to MA47, enter the document number, and make the necessary changes. Now, when maintaining the quotation, one interesting aspect is the value in the quotation can be automatically updated in the info record. So for that, double click on that material number to go to the item details. Use this field info update for selecting the relevant option. Usually option B is selected, which is update with plant information only when the vendor is not blocked in that specific plant. So once we select this option and click on save, when I go to the info record for that specific material, so when I now go to ME12 or ME13 for that vendor and material in that specific purchasing organization and plant, the price would be immediately updated as of this date, and the quotation number will also be automatically updated, indicating that this price is taken from that specific quotation. Like this, purchase info record price can be automatically updated from the quotation document. Okay, so you want to display the quotation, you go to MA49, enter, sorry, MA48, Enter the document number and all the data will be in display mode, including the header text. Okay. After maintaining the quotations, now we need to do a comparison of quotations. So we go to MA49. In the SAP system, quotations are compared and ranked only on price. And for pulling out the relevant quotations, you need to enter the purchasing organization and either the quotation document number range or the collective number. Since we have already maintained collective number, enter the collective number and click on execute. And this is how the list will show, showing you the rank of the for each item and for the total document. The ranking for each item is to ensure the users can select each item from a different vendor, or if required, they can select all the items from the same vendor, right? So this is how the ranking will look. So once you're done with the comparison of quotations, now we need to create a purchase order. So creation of purchase order can be done either with reference or without reference, using the same transaction code, which is ME21N. When we go to this transaction code, again this document is also divided into three parts: header, item overview, item detail. Sorry for that. So header, item overview, item detail. The first field is the document number, then document type is the first field, document number. Next is the vendor number. The header part contains all the data common to all the items, item overview, and item detail. So to create a purchase order with reference, click on this document overview on button. Click on the selection variant button. Select the relevant option. To create it with reference to a purchase requisition, RFQ quotation, purchase order, or outline agreements. Since we have just maintained the quotations, let's take the reference to the quotation. Select request for quotation. Enter the criteria for pulling out the quotations. So since we have only 4 quotations for one purchasing organization, I'm just going to enter the purchasing organization. Based on the criteria entered, what is the maximum number of documents to be pulled out will be displayed here. For now, just leave it as it is. Click on execute and it will show me the list of all the documents meeting that criteria. So here we see each of the documents repeated 3 times, indicating that there are 3 items in each of these documents. Select the document based on which you want to create the document, create the purchase order, and click on adopt. When you click on adopt, the data already maintained in the quotation will be automatically copied. All the data will be automatically copied. So the header part, the header text, the item overview, the item detail part, everything will be automatically updated. Now the error that we are getting indicates that the controlling area, which we created earlier, the control indicators does not exist. That means the controlling area is not yet activated. So this you are not going to get in the real time because the controlling area would have been activated. Just to show you that you may get this type of error, I have not activated it. So go to IMG, controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling area. Click on execute, double click on maintain controlling area. And you'll see the list of all the controlling areas created in the server. Click on position, enter your controlling area. Select the controlling area and double click on this option, activate components and control indicators. You'll see a blank screen like this. Click on new entries. And here, enter the current year, the calendar year, and save it. No need to do anything else. Now go back to ME21N and create the document. So again, click on document overview on, selection variant, RFQ, enter the criteria, click on execute, select the document, click on adopt. Once the data is copied, again select the next item, click on adopt. The second item will be automatically added. Or you can also select the item, drag and drop it to the shopping cart. One purchase order can be created only for one vendor. If you try to include another vendor's data here, system will give an error saying the reference vendor differs from the vendor for the document, and it will not allow you to continue further until you remove that reference material. To remove it, select that item and click on this delete button and click on yes. Okay. So once all the data from the document, the relevant document, is copied to the system, click on the messages button to see how the output, how this document will be sent to the vendor, and click on communication method to see the details, and then click on check to see if there are any errors. Okay, the status will show me the total quantity which is ordered and the total value of the document. Now, usually when we click on check, there is an additional tab which will appear called release strategy. Now, the release strategy will indicate the type of upload process. If the release strategy is not assigned and you save the document, this document can be used only for display purposes. You will not be allowed to, because the document will not be approved, the document cannot be sent out to the vendor. Okay. So once a purchase order is created, if you want to change the purchase order, you go to ME22N and make the necessary changes to the document. If this is not the document that you created, click on the other document button and search for the relevant document. Press F4 in the pop-up and enter your command to load the relevant document. So here this is the document number, and it's 723, and make the necessary changes. On the display, you go to ME23N and display the document. You want to make changes to the header text to maintain the purchase order supplement. You go to ME24, enter the document number and make the necessary changes. ME2M is list by document number. So here I can enter a range of material numbers and click on execute, and the system will show me all the purchase orders created by material number. So based on the material number, it will show me the purchase orders which have been created. Or you want to search by vendor, you go to ME2L, enter the range of vendor numbers, click on execute, and it will show me the document of the purchase orders created by vendor number. Right? Now, if I want to send this document to the vendor, ME9F, and I click on execute, it will show me the document number. Select the document and click on output message, and it is sent. Select the document, click on display message, and it will show me the document layout as designed in the SAP system. So this is again a standard layout. If you want to make changes to this layouts with your programmer at the time of initial installation, we'll make the necessary changes to the document so that the users have the document as required. Okay. So once it is sent out, end of the purchase order. To create a purchase order without reference, you again go to ME21N, enter, select the document type, enter the vendor number, enter the relevant material numbers. So here again, if you don't remember the material numbers, press F4 in the material column, go to plan description by enter the relevant plant, and you get the list of material within the plant. So select the relevant material number, enter the quantity, specify the delivery date, and enter the plant where the delivery needs to be made. Specify the purchasing organization, the purchasing group. And since there is no info record maintained for that item and vendor, enter the price. Okay. Click on check, and if there are no errors, click on save. Again, you go to ME9F to send the document to the vendor. And select the document, display message to see how the document will look. Now, another method of creating the purchase order is by converting a purchase requisition to a purchase order. The purchase requisition can be converted to a purchase order automatically, provided these following prerequisites are maintained in the system. So in the material master, the auto clear checkbox must be checked in the purchasing view. The vendor master automatic purchase order checkbox has to be checked, and info record should exist, and the items in the purchase requisition should have a vendor assigned to it. So let's see how to create it. First, we create a purchase requisition. So I go to MA51N, create a purchase requisition, on create, select the document type, which is MD, enter the, first I create the material with auto PO checking settings. So go to MM01, select the industry sector and the material type. Select the views, enter the plant, storage location, auto PO, base unit of measure, material groups, enter some weight. The entries are all standard except for this particular checkbox. So checking this box will indicate that this material in this plant will have the purchase order created automatically. Enter some temperature conditions and maintain the valuation class. Save it. Likewise, create a vendor. Go to XK01, enter the company code, purchasing organization, purchasing group, enter the reference if required, automatically copy the data, enter the name of the vendor. All the data is the same except in the purchasing data screen. Here, we have to check this automatic purchase order checkbox. Save it. Vendor is created. Now, maintain the purchasing info record for that vendor, material, in that purchasing organization and plant. Specify the details. Save it. Now, create a purchase requisition. Go to create. Select the standard document type. Enter that material number. Enter some quantity. Specify the delivery date and enter the plant. Click on save. So once a document is created, go to MA57 to assign the vendor manually to the document. Enter the criteria to pull out the document. Click on execute and it will show me all the documents which have not been assigned a vendor. Select the relevant document, click on assign manually and enter the vendor number that we just created. If you don't remember the vendor number, press F4 again and search for it. And you can enter the relevant vendor number and click on assign source of supply. So once this green line is assigned, click on save, indicating that this vendor has been assigned to this purchase requisition for this material using this info record. So again, when we go back and enter the same criteria, click on execute, system will not show the document because the vendor is already assigned. Once it is assigned, now we need to convert the purchase requisition to a purchase order. So we go to the transaction code MA59M, enter the criteria to pull out the document and convert it, click on execute. So if all the prerequisites have been maintained properly and the document is also created properly, the system will automatically show me the document created on that vendor. So this is the purchase order number. When I double click on it, it will show me the purchase order created. Okay. Now all I need to do is send the document to the vendor. Go to ME9F, get the approval and send it to the vendor. Okay. So in this way, I can automatically convert the purchase requisition to a purchase order. Now our purchase requisition had only one item. And in the real time, there will be a lot of items for a lot of plans. So when we go to ME959N, this second subscreen will specify on what criteria the system has to create a purchase order from the items in the purchase requisition. So the criteria will pull out a lot of purchase requisitions, and since in each document there will be a lot of items, the second subscreen will identify on what criteria the purchase order has to be created. Okay. So the next item is after purchase order, we're going to talk about outline agreements. Outline agreements are a type of purchase order like documents which are used for purchasing the material services which are required to be delivered over a longer period of time. As you can see in a purchase order, the delivery can be maintained, delivery is specified to be on a specific date, right? So all this quantity has to be delivered only on a specific date. Now in a purchase order, we do have an option to schedule the delivery for 3 or 4 different dates, but they have to be within the same posting period. Okay. But whereas, what if the delivery has to be done over 2 months, 3 months, or maybe even 6 months, or maybe even a year? Then for those types of purchase activities, we go with the outline agreements. There are two types of outline agreements, contracts and scheduling agreements. Contracts are normally used in situations where the total quantity to be purchased is known beforehand within that period, but not the actual delivery dates. Whereas scheduling agreement will be created in situations where not only the overall quantity for the total period is known, but the specific delivery dates and the quantities required on those delivery dates is also known in advance. So in a contract, the overall quantity and the within the total period, for that detail, the contract document will be created, and against that contract document, whenever the company requires the quantity to be delivered by the vendor within that period, an additional document called release order against contract will be created. All right, sorry for that. There was a tire burst somewhere in the back end. Sorry for that. There was a tire burst or a vehicle backfired. Now, coming back, the additional document called release order against contract will be sent specifying the actual quantity to be delivered on a specific date within the overall time period. The scheduling agreement, because the specific quantities and dates will be known in advance, an additional document called delivery schedule or schedule line will be maintained, indicating the quantity and the date on which it has to be delivered. So the scheduling agreement document along with the delivery schedule will be sent to the vendor, which will indicate the dates and the quantities to be delivered. Whereas in a contract, After the agreement document is sent, this additional document has to be sent to the vendor specifying the quantity and the delivery date. Contracts are normally of two types, quantity contract and value contract. Quantity contracts are normally used for stock or non-stock material where the criteria will be the quantity ordered, whereas value contracts are for services or direct consumables where the criteria will be the value of the item ordered.